Hello and welcome once again to Inside Richmond Football with head coach Tony Lewis. We're going to talk about last week's loss to Lawrence North, kind of evaluate the first two games, and now the Red Devils get ready for conference play coming up on Friday on the road at Indianapolis Tech. Great to have you with us as we talk high school football. And Coach, welcome once again. Good to see you. And boy, go back to Friday night. I know that after the game you and I spoke a little bit, and I think just overall you didn't like the focus coming in. You mentioned that you guys didn't have a great week of practice.
And we just got done talking about that in our meeting. Our focus wasn't good in practice. That's something that we've got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job overall getting the kids focused. And as we told the kids on Saturday morning when we were lifting, I felt like our kids were very happy, obviously, and we want them to be happy about a win. But it kind of felt like last week in practice, hey, we've got our win for the year, and let's just kind of see how it goes from there. And we're not in the process of doing that. We want to step on the field and play well every week and be getting better as the weeks build up. So we'll get better this week, and I think we had a good talk on Saturday, if you could call it a talk, in the weight room. And I think our kids will have a better week of practice.
Sometimes it happens, though, doesn't it? I mean, we're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and it's not an easy thing to keep them focused all the time.
It's not. You're dealing with you deal with home issues, you deal with girlfriend issues, you deal with school issues, and speaking of school, as we told our kids, we're starting our fourth week of the grading period, and our grades have to be right. So one of the things I'll be doing this afternoon is doing a grade check on all of them and seeing where they are. And unfortunately for some of our young men, if they're not doing well, then they'll be staying after for some opportunity time after practice.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about the game itself. And you and I talked about this last week. I think you'd almost have to have played a perfect game. A Lawrence North team that played so well against Perry Meridian. They come out of there, you look at them, they're big, and, they're out of the mix, no doubt about it. So you knew it was going to have to be a great effort in order to beat those guys. Yeah,
they're a really, really good team, and we knew that going in. They've got all the elements. They've got size. They have speed. They're very athletic. We just felt like after watching film and even Friday night when I spoke to you, I just felt like we gave them a little bit more than what we should have given them. Realistically, in my mind, and maybe I'm being optimistic, but realistically, I think the game, could have very easily been more like 28-7, something like that. I do not believe we should have given up 51 points. I think we gave them points, obviously, on turnovers. We gave them points in the kicking game by punting it to the returner when we should have been putting it out of bounds and things like that. So maybe I'm optimistic in terms of that score thought, but I really feel like they're a good team, but we made them look better than they were.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I think you're right, and you can't give a team those many more opportunities and make those kind of mistakes because they will take advantage of them, and that's what they did.
They did, and they're a well-coached team, and I think this year in the MIC, I think they're going to be, they didn't win a game last year in the MIC, and I believe they're going to win some games this year in the MIC, and I think they're trending in the right direction. So as we told the kids after the game, if it's not the best team we're going to play this year on our schedule, it'll be one of the top teams in our schedule. And hopefully we can learn from the film and learn that we can play. When we play well, we have a chance to be successful, and we'll move on from there.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Wyatt got that first gain of 20 yards at the beginning of the ball game and your offensive line looked like they did last week, I was thinking, well, I'll tell you what, they play like this could be a game.
Well, and you're exactly right. And looking at film, with the number of guys they had in the box against our stacked formation with our wide receivers out wide, we should have been able to run the ball, and we just didn't do a good job up front. We tried to make some corrections on that on Saturday in terms of how we were blocking it. We had linemen turning around and facing, wrong way. We had they were stunting and stuff, and our kids didn't do a good job of that.
Yeah. And by the way, when you think about that, Alec had a couple of nice runs taken back because of a couple of penalties too.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And we cannot, when we put the ball on the ground again, we had a couple crucial picks for us. We put the ball on the ground, so you cannot do that against quality teams. And we'll get better. We'll get better. It's a process, and I think our kids after Saturday understand that we have to have better focus in practice. we have to practice good habits, and we got to do the little things right, and we haven't been doing the little things right.
Speaking of Alec, when he was throwing the football, he overthrew a couple of receivers here and there, but I think on film you kind of look back and think, kid can throw the football a little bit, can he?
He can, and we need to be able, as a staff, to be able to put him in a position to be successful with the route concepts we're calling, and also what we're doing with our protection. So, speaking of film, one of the picks that got returned for a touchdown, our receivers ran the wrong routes, and that allowed that kid to be in the position to make an interception, and he ultimately returned it for a touchdown. So that wasn't all on Alec, and as we explained to the kids, quarterback is not an easy position to play. Yeah. Alec is the guy that we're going with, and we have confidence in him, and he'll grow from this. And anybody that's played quarterback, including myself, as I shared with Alec afterwards, you're going to have bad days. You got to move on.
Yeah. I know a couple of NFL quarterbacks who've had 6 interceptions in a ball game, and they became Hall of Famers. So, yes. Coach, before we talk about this week, let's evaluate your first 2 games. Now, overall, give me kind of a look at the entire package instead of breaking down the 2 games separately. What do you think?
Well, I think defensively, even though we gave up a lot of points last week, I think defensively we're further along than what I felt like we would be. I think, we've got a freshman linebacker, Jacob Haynes.
Yep.
We're playing in a tough conference. We just played a really tough opponent with a freshman linebacker.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of young kids playing. I think our D-line's going to get better. I think they realize they've got to get their hands on people, keep their shoulders square, and keep the offensive line off our linebackers. After Saturday's film, that was re-emphasized again. So, and offensively, we have to be able to run the football. I think if we can run the football, I'm a quarterback that loves to throw it also, but we want to run the ball first. And, that's going to be something that we're going to focus on this week.
Wyatt got banged up a little bit, and I don't know how much you want to go into his status right now, but that he really didn't play in the second half,
no,
right? Yeah,
he is banged up, and we don't know. I believe his parents are taking him to the doctor this week. If they didn't take him yesterday, they'll probably take him Monday. We don't know about his status for this week. I would say it's highly questionable. So it's kind of a next man up mentality, and we have other backs that can run the football, and we have to have confidence in what we're doing to do that. So I think, we just move on. That's what football's all about. Next man up, and you play for the guy next to you. So we'll be okay. We've just got to get better at the little things.
Well, he took some hits, didn't he? I mean, not only running the football, but playing defense, and then that special teams play too. He got hit pretty hard.
He did. He took some shots. He took a shot to his jaw. He's had a bad hip all year. He's had a hip flexor issue all year. And Abby, our trainer, who does a great job, said that he may have potentially pulled something away from the bone. We're not sure, so she wants to get that looked at. So we'll see how it is. But I would say he's highly questionable this week.
Tough kid, though, isn't he?
He is a very tough kid. We'd take 40 of him.
Yeah, no kidding, no doubt about it. When we come back, we're going to talk about this week's opponent, Indianapolis Tech. We'll do that coming up next on Inside Richmond Football, right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
We check them better. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified vehicle is fully inspected and reconditioned by ASE and factory-trained technicians. And each Better Buy vehicle comes with a Carfax vehicle history report, so you know you can buy a vehicle with confidence. We back 'em better with a 3-day satisfaction guarantee. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified comes with a 3-day or 300-mile satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it within that 3 days or 300 miles, just bring it back and we'll exchange it for a vehicle of equal value. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified vehicle comes with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. We price them better. We have dedicated individuals searching the entire country for the highest quality, lowest price vehicles for our inventory. In today's competitive market, we're constantly monitoring vehicle values to ensure that we're offering the best prices possible. We guarantee that every Wetzel Better Buy vehicle is the highest quality used car or truck around. Our reconditioning process guarantees that you are getting a vehicle as close to brand new as possible, and our warranties back that up.
Well, big week again. NCC play opens up on Friday. The Red Devils travel to Indianapolis Tech to take on the Titans. We'll have it for you right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. You can see all the action with a pregame beginning at 6:30. Coach, conference play now. That's why you play the 2 preseason games. Right. Now you start conference play. You go to Tech. You're going to see a lot of athletes again this week.
Right. They have guys that can run all over the field, obviously. They got a pretty big offensive line. But with all that being said, going back to last week's game with Lawrence North, we should be prepared at this point of seeing a big, strong line of athletic guys at running back and quarterback. So we feel like this past week has prepared us for Tech Week. And as you said, conference play gets started. We want to do well in the conference. We want to give ourselves a chance to be successful in all our conference games. We feel like we can do that. And it just starts with a good week of practice and paying attention to the particular things you need to do for yourself, doing your job and not worrying about other people's jobs.
Tech has had some years where they've had some really good talented players that have gone on to play some college football, but as a team, they just don't seem to be able to put things together from a success standpoint. Do they want to run the football more this year? They're going to throw the football? What do you expect on Friday?
I expect Friday night for them to run the football.
Okay.
They've got a really good tailback. They'll throw some play action in off of their zone. I'd say their favorite play is the zone running play. They'll run a little bit of power, but mainly at zone, and he's a heck of a back. We've got to hit him before he gets started, just like last week. We've got to do a better job than we did last week of that. But they definitely want to run the football. We have to focus on stopping the run. We want them to throw the football.
Exactly. Coach, I want to go back to, before I let you go, Friday night. What an atmosphere. Fans were out there. I thought it was just a great, great Friday night. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was. We had a great crowd. My wife, my mom and dad came to the game and commented how great a crowd it was. Okay. Unfortunately, as a coach, I don't get to turn around and watch, what's going on in the stands, but it was obviously a great crowd. We honored a lot of great ex-football players that played here at Richmond, and as I said after the game, we need to do a better job of representing what Richmond football should look like. We didn't do a good job of that Friday night, and that's on me. And we'll get better. And I think that kind of crowd, if we can keep that enthusiasm and have that type of crowd for going into our conference games, that would be great. That really helps our team. It excites our kids coming out to that type of crowd, and you don't get that at all places.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, before I said one last thing, but I got to mention, I was out yesterday and saw a couple of people, and they said, you know what? Kind of like what you said, that really shouldn't have been a game from a score standpoint that it was. They saw some of the mistakes that were made, understandably. Again, youth and stuff like that. But they were encouraged, and that's what I like to see. They felt that this is a football team that can be better and better every week. So that has to make you feel good, too.
Oh, it does. And I've had positive comments, just like you said, from different people in the community about what went on. It's always tough as a coach. Yeah. You see all the other things that are going on and some of the things that you need to clean up. Yeah. But, yes, there's we're optimistic. Yeah. These are things that we can fix. They're all fixable mistakes. Yeah. And I think after seeing film, our kids understand that. Again, it goes back to we have to be coachable. Yep. We have to do the little things right, and we have to be disciplined. Yeah. We want to be a disciplined team. We want to be a physical team. Those are our two things that we have to get better at and that we have a lot of control over. So if we do that, going into this game with Tech, we feel like we have a chance to be successful.
Remind me next week, talk about your coaching staff. You got a lot of great young guys there, don't you?
We do. Yeah. We have a great staff. Just got done meeting today, and they put in a lot of hours. Our kids like them, and as our kids understand, we're going to pick our staff based on who we feel like puts the kids' best interests at heart. We got a lot of guys that are football guys, but to me, more importantly, they put the kids' best interests at heart, and they want to do what's best for the young man and develop young men, and that's the most important thing.
All right, Coach, good luck this week.
Thank you very much. Go Red Devils.
There you go. We'll have the game for you again. Pregame 6:30, kickoff at 7 right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.